Yo, this is the American Gangster Isaiah Wolf, and you are now entering the Three Count Podcast.
Well, by now, if you've heard this kind of intro, that means one thing. This is now entering 201, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And by now, you've already figured it out that, as you're sure, but it's never about me. It's about who's entering. So who's entering? You can find this person at CZW. You can find this person at the Wrestling Independent, although he was just kind of there, just not really like there.
And I,
You
I,
can
was, I was there for a reason. I was there for a reason. I had to, yeah.
Yeah. RSW. You can find this person at PWM. You can find him at BCP. You can find him at PWH. You can find this man at XWX. You can find this man all over the world because that's what he does. He just travels and beats people up. But he is the American gangster himself, Isaiah Wolf.
Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on?
What is up, man? It has been 4 years in the making of like having you come on the show and just like
I'm
put
like,
that on.
yeah, man. Like it's been a minute. I'm like, I know the last time it was just prolific and everybody and stuff like that. And I know you had Tyree on, so this is like one of the few times that I know me and you've had our conversations like one on one sometimes in passing, but I feel like the first time that me and you actually like sit down and just like you know talk to shit and it's like
Yeah, definitely chop it up because it's been crazy because like you said, like we'll talk back and forth like on I am and stuff like that. We'll have like our messages and stuff, and then like I know I have you checking out some of the matches and stuff like that. But it was cool to run into you at the Wrestling Independent and then have a full conversation with you about like how things are going and what they're looking like and stuff like that. So definitely being able to go to you and ask you like how things are looking, and you were just like, yeah, you gave me your advice and your
yeah.
2 cents about everything. I was like, yeah, like I feel like I'm headed on the right track because when I talk to Tyree, right, I tell Tyree the same thing, and Tyree's like, "Oh yeah, no, 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 like you're heading in the right direction. You're doing the things that you're doing. Keep doing this, keep doing that, keep going to training, keep doing all the things like that." Tyree will
Yeah.
say, and then hearing you say it too, and it's not like to not invalidate what Tyree is saying, but also it just more validates what he said to me and to kind of help keep me moving in the right direction. So it was
I'm
cool.
like nah, like it's I wouldn't even say like there's a reason why I always say like I always pitch that or not even pitch that I always feel like we're three like-minded individuals because all of a sudden we know what we look for and stuff like that when we're actually seeing people's progression and stuff. It's like Ty has his focal points of what he sees when he looks at people progressing from the first time he met them until now. Marcus has the same way when it comes to like like looking at people's progression, and he has his eyes and stuff like that on what he's seeing and stuff like that, and myself included. But as long as we actually see progression, then it's like all right, we know what we're saying to a person didn't fall on deaf ears, and that's something that also like that sticks out to us because like I always feel like there's this thing that we like to say, and like not all the advice in wrestling is good advice, but all of a sudden, if you can actually have take something that's actually like credible and like very constructive, and you actually use it in the right way, then you're gonna grow and you're gonna learn from that.
Yeah, it's the thing that like sitting down and like just hearing everybody like give their critiques and stuff like that and show. And it's funny because like at the Wrestling Open actually, and for those who are gonna like try to figure out the date for this, yesterday I saw Tyree and I told
Yeah,
him, I was like, yo, I ran into Isaiah in Philly, and he was like, oh, that's what was going on over there. And then I was telling him about how we were talking and stuff, and you were like, yeah, like you're obviously, because let's be real, like, and if you guys ever watched my second wrestling match ever, I wasn't fatter, but I was a little huskier. And then like now, like I've lost a lot of like body fat. And so like obviously I've been working on my physique and stuff like that, and then working on my
I'm just
moveset,
like
working on my
you.
character.
Nah, I'm like yo. From what I saw, like from when I met you, when you're like your second match, and all of a sudden to the progression that you have now is like it's a complete 180, and honestly speaking, I'm like it's a good look for you. Not just that, it shows that you're willing to take your craft and all of a sudden what you want to do in this business a lot more seriously, because sometimes people just like rest on, they just rest off of just shit, and that's pretty much it. But obviously you took the feedback, you took the criticism, and obviously you're making it work. Like, to be quite honest, like, I go through the same thing my damn self, and stuff like that. And like damn, like, I think my body's on point, and I'm just like, I think I can work on this. I need to get this together. And it's like, shit, I gotta get TV ready. I don't know when, but or get that call. I just need to be ready.
It's one of those things where like I've taken that because in the military, you have the mindset of like you don't ever have to get ready if you stay ready,
Yeah,
and I've legitimately just run with that now. And I not that I never did it in the military because
yeah,
I felt like I was always on point, but like taking that mindset and bringing it into the wrestling
yeah,
world, and then like always staying on the grind. Like I think the one thing I definitely know I can improve on, and Tyree says this to me all the time, and I definitely understand, but like I don't get to hit the ring as much as I used to
yeah,
because I was doing it weekly when I was in Maryland, but now that I moved up to
yeah,
Massachusetts, like, I'm still working on getting to that place where I can go weekly, but
yeah,
I'm in the gym, 6 days 5, 6 days a week. So, like, it's not like I don't work on anything, and then I try to do match studies at least, like, once or twice a week to see what matches I'm watching and what I'm paying attention to and learning, and then trying to apply that to myself and then
yeah.
work on the mental game. So, like, it's yeah, I definitely understand, like, this is a business and it's a craft, and you have to grind on your craft to, like, make yourself as good as you can make yourself.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I'm not gonna lie, to like there was a time where I would even say like I was addicted, but I was definitely like an avid performer of, like, just studying everything, studying what can make me different, studying moves that I can incorporate to just that would just pretty much amplify who I was and stuff like that. And like, it got to the point where, like, yo, it consumed me, but it helped me out, because all of a sudden it allowed me to just think differently as a performer and a wrestler and stuff like that. And there was times where I've actually just pitched stuff to Marcus and Tyree, and they looked at me like, "How's that supposed to work?" I was like, "Yo, just trust me." I'm like, "Yo, just trust me." I'm like, "I I got an idea. I got an idea." And long and behold, those ideas has been pretty much one of our biggest motherfucking finishers and successes of the group and whatnot. Like, the triple clash wasn't, it wasn't something that they jumped aboard quickly. But I'm like, yo, we should just, like, yo, this. I know we did it with the double one, but let's see how it feels doing a triple styles clash, the prolific clash. It was like, nah, let's try it. I was
Yeah.
like, you get it? And he's like, damn, this worked out really well. I was like, hmm, like, who would have
Go
thought?
figure.
I was
Who
like,
would
yeah,
have guessed?
who would have guessed, guys? Who would have guessed?
It's funny because you mentioned, like, prolific, right? Because, when we first all met, right, I was doing my own thing, and then Pure Ignorance was doing their thing, and then
Yeah,
they picked up a 3rd member, so now they have Jace, well, Noah Idol running with them, and
yeah,
then this was the first time at the Independent where I officially came out with, like, a Pure Ignorance T-shirt,
yeah,
because 'cause we've ran before, like, in other companies, we've ran before as Ignorant Dogs, but
yeah,
we decided this time I was like, "Alright, let me come out with, like, camo shorts, like, same style, colors,
yeah.
scheme at least, even though those were my Air Force shorts, and then let me come out with a Pure Ignorance T-shirt." So, it was the first time that I got to come out with them on my own gear, and I was like, "Hey, yo, this is a weird, but, like, also very, like, natural feeling to,
I'm
like,
like,
be wearing
yeah,
this."
like, it's funny because it's like, it's the one thing to like be tagged up with people and whatnot, but it's another thing to actually like roll with your friends, because all of a sudden sometimes you have a tendency of, like, I wouldn't say you never break character, but you can see, like, yo, these guys are having so much fun right now just bullshitting and stuff like that. And it's
Yep.
like, yeah, and it shows when it comes to prolific, especially when it comes to introduction time. I like to take helm on the stupidness of what I do. Uh and whatnot. But like I said, man, like, once you find like a synergy with your group and stuff like that, then the sky's the limit and stuff like that. And it makes a lot of the things that we focus on in this industry a lot smoother.
It was funny because, like, when we first met, right, like, we all kind of, like, gravitated towards a person, right?
Yeah,
Prince with Tyree, Chaz, Marquis, and then you and I, uh, kinda, like, gravitate and I was like, I just see so much similarities in all of it because Chaz is a pretty one. He's the one that's like, "Yeah, I know I'm good looking, I'm gonna be loud and brash about everything," and then Prince is like, wants to be the muscle, and at the time, like, I looked at myself and I was like, "I'm just gonna be the guy that just kind of is the quiet leader behind the scenes and kinda, like, pushes people in certain directions and see how things go." And Evolve 4 years later, like, y'all still doing your thing, and y'all picked up a 4th member as well.
yeah,
And it's like, now it's just funny to see the similarities of, like, how everybody is just still, like, we're still like, I know those guys have gone on to do their things. I still watch, like, all of your content, and I still, like, try to
yeah.
model some of the stuff that I wanna do, like, after, like, how you're doing it because of, like, I find this very interesting. I was like, "How do I work around this way?"
Oh man, honestly, like yo, like I said, man, it just came with a lot of like studying and just like finding a formula, and then it was like, yo, all right, bet. I consider myself to be a smart guy. I consider myself to be a very highly intelligent person, but I also consider myself like, yo, if I don't know, I'm going to find a blueprint that works, and then I'm just gonna wind up making it my own. Like when I started Prolific, I honestly, I really just like, yo, I I wanted a group where I could be around people in a like where I can just have a brotherhood, or like if it don't work, at least I get to be with my friends, like, or at
Yeah.
least I could be with people that I could be in a car with someone for more than 15 minutes and not want to blow their head up. And when I'm like, and these guys are that, and Lala is that. I'm just like, oh, I'm like, damn, I just want to just have a group where I could just be in the car with someone and I don't. And I'm just like, and all of us, even with the Wise brother, I was like, all right, I think we have something going. And then after a while, it's like me and Marcus already knew each other. Me and Todd knew each other. I was like, yo, Marcus, meet my boy Todd. Let's see how this three clicks and stuff like that. I'm just like, all right, bet. And stuff like that. Ty had more experience, and because he started before me and stuff like that. But I was like, for some strange reason, it was just like I feel like because I consumed so much, I kind of like caught up with him when it came to like that timing and experience and stuff like that. And it was just like I have a plan. I just I'll tell it. I'm like I swear to God, like once I figure it out, I will tell y'all it. But like y'all, I'm like I need y'all to blindly have faith in me. And it's like just I just need you to have blind faith. I don't know. And like then next thing I know, like 4 years later, I'm just like Prolific and now become an internationally global thing. Like, yeah. And so,
It
yeah,
it's cool because, like, watching y'all continue to push each other and to grow and to challenge each other in different aspects of life and in ways of, like, growing in the wrestling industry. It's it's one of those things where it's like, I wanna emulate the same thing with the guys and
yeah.
keep, like, leaning on them and keep pushing them and talk to them about different things because you know, they're of course, like, you're always gonna have, like, disagreements, and then
Oh yeah.
you come to that happy medium at some point, but then, like, there's also times where you just have to kinda be like, "Hey, listen," like you said, "Just trust me." Just I know
I'm
it's
like,
crazy, just trust
I
me.
was like, yeah. I'm like, because honestly, I feel like numbers also help out with stuff like that because numbers don't lie. So I'm just like, hey guys, I'm like, yo, this is what I did on my post, and you saw the numbers that it attracted. So I'm just saying maybe we tried this and that and the third, and it may help out. But it also it just came with like that bond. I'm like, we all bonded. We're like, we all bonded and stuff like that. I'm like, so it came with like don't get me wrong, we all have disagreements. We do have our like we are like a family. We are brothers. When we disagree, we fucking disagree. But we also know like even with our disagreements, we put the business aspect first because we know what we're doing is eventually is, if not eventually, if it is already, is bigger than us, and we're having an effect on people in this industry or outside this industry, and it it's kind of surreal sometimes. But like I said, it's just like what makes it work for us sometimes is me. I am super competitive, and I also like to talk a lot of shit. One of my favorite things to do is like if I know all three of us are on a car together, and they might either me and Marcus might tag, or Tyree might have a singles match, or I might have a singles match, and Tyree and Marcus might tag. I like to make a bet. I like to take bets. I'm gonna have the better match and stuff like that. And, and honestly speaking, I'm like, I feel like that competitiveness brought the best out of us, especially early within our formation, because of the fact that they didn't know anything about us just yet, and we was actually getting a lot of comparisons to like other black stables in the industry at that time, and then eventually we just like, yeah, we had to break out and do our own thing and showcase what people are know now is a prolific way.
See, and I think that's like the next evolution for like pure ignorance, right? Is that I think I'm gonna have to sit and like whenever I go around in the shows to them, I'm just gonna tell them straight up like, "Ayo, I bet you I'm gonna have a better match than y'all," and just to see like the react. I know Chaz instantly, nah, hell nah, you ain't never gonna have a better match than me, bro. Ain't gonna fucking happen, man. Like you just Chaz being Chaz.
I'm like, nah. Honestly, it does help. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I've had to swallow my pride, and I lost $5 and shit like that before. I was like, wrestling. Like when you first break in, your wrestling pain too crazy. I was like, I got five, man. Fuck you. I'll have a better match and whatnot. And then, yeah, and then all of a sudden, I had to, had to suck it up and pay that 5 one time. So I had a better match than myself and Marcus. But I was like, that's that bullshit. I'm like, yo, you wrestle Jacob Fatu. I'm like, you ain't gonna have a bad match, motherfucker. But I was like, you know what? I digress. You got it. You got it. Okay. Congratulations. Well, we was a close second, motherfucker. But I was like,
I think it's always fun to like be competitive with you. I know like when we are in the car, we are always talking mad shit to each other because it's like you're always talking about like who's doing what and what's going on and how we're gonna get there. And then these guys are always in like mind you, like I've won one singles title by myself, right? These dudes are walking around with belts currently,
yeah.
and they're just like, yeah, look at all the titles that we won. We still got car. We got the car. Look, the back seat of your car, Cliff, is like being held down by most of our titles. I'm like, shut up, man. I'm about to kick all y'all out this car and make y'all walk to the show.
I'm like, honestly, like, yo, let's do it. I look at it like this. Don't even worry about that shit. Like, it's real talk. Like not because all of a sudden, like Ty had all the singles titles and stuff like that. Ty had all the singles stuff. Like he was just winning belts at like various promotions and stuff like that. Even at our homegrown, he was a singles champ. He held the title I held, and whatnot. But I'm like, you got my belt right now. I was like, and all of a sudden, me and Marcus held the tag titles, and I always kind of found kind of funny because I beat Marcus in a triple threat to become the tag team champs, and ironically I pinned him. Long and behold, we formed. I was quite adamant. I was like, you know what, yo, if we win these titles, you got to get the pin, fam. I was like to be real, man, yo, this is. I've had my moments where I've won the title and I've became champ and I've done this, but I was like, yo, this is your moment, and I'm here for that with you and stuff like that. So that always made me kind of like, I'm like, damn, bro, look at that, you full, like, 180 again, look at that and stuff like that. But then my favorite part is I became a heavyweight champ before Ty. I was like, that was awesome. I was like, that was my night though. He had them titles. I was like, he had those, like, he had more he had more titles. But I got the heavyweight one first and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm still upgraded. Version 2. of this heavyweight title. That's now a world title. But like, yeah, it's dope. And now he has his first heavyweight title, and I was there for him when he won it. So I was like, yo, like I'm like I wouldn't like I said, don't worry about what you don't have right now because it in a matter of time and whatnot. Once it like I feel like once it clicks and then everyone starts seeing what you're doing, I'm like then you'll start getting those opportunities and start building that trust where all of a sudden you become that guy or that guy on the way up.
Yeah, no, I was just meaning like in a sense of it's just funny because like if I ever wanted to play something down, like these dudes played trump card, like oh yeah, but we got
Yeah,
all the. I'm like, oh man, you know
I
what?
don't.
One day, bro, one day.
I'm like yeah, that's like for real. I'm like yeah, trust me, man. You'll be good. You'll be good. Like all of a sudden you're gonna get a belt, like a brand new belt that's, better looking than theirs. And be like, well, y'all got these old ass tag titles and here I am just ripping some new smells. The leather not even ain't even bent up. It's still firm. Like, yeah, shut up. Like
So I guess like where I love doing about this episode or this style of like this podcast, right, is let's say like you're in a match, right? Or you're getting to call up a match, right? And you get like this person that's relatively young, right? So you ask them like how long they've been in. They say they're like coming up on their 5th year. Like what are kind of some of the expectations that you have for that person to see like how you feel like you can handle them in a ring?
I just damn, because it's not really a secret. Like you could tell, like you should. Mm, because I don't want to make it sound like a dick, or I don't want to make it sound like like full of vet card and stuff like that. But it's just more the lines of like if I understand that you're 5 years in, all right, bet. I knew how I was 5 years in and stuff like that. I was a sponge, but I was also trying to be respectful at the same time on the vet that I have. But I also learned being the vet that I am now that just because a person has been in the game for a long period of time, it does not always mean that they're good. You can be doing this for 20 goddamn years, but all of a sudden, like, if you're 20 years after, pretty much regulated you and staying in the same goddamn spot with no progression, then you like, then all of a sudden, there's nothing I can learn from you in that aspect because you decided not to progress at the same time. But with that being said, I'm like, yo, if the person I'm like, I'm 5 years in, I'm like, all right, cool, what do you do? Or like, what do I asked them what do they like to try and incorporate or just get a feel for them and stuff like that. And it's like also like, do you make eye to eye contact when you're calling this match with me? I'm like, I need to know your attention span because it's like once that bell ring, it's just me and you. It was like like and stuff like that. So I'm just like, all right, let's talk. Okay, all right. Hmm, I don't know about that. We gonna see. And then after a while, like I feel like sometimes the things that you call in your match, or at least in my match, I don't always do. Like I don't do everything I call. That's just me. That's just me. Sometimes it's like, yo, you do this a while, you just go by the feel of the crowd, and then you just like sometimes you just you change things up and whatnot, how the energy rocks.
It's funny because like I've so being relatively young and still like growing in this, right? Uh, I've been in positions where I've been able to lead people, and I've been in positions where obviously like I'm following. But one of my favorite moments was I was at a SWA in Shady Grove, right? And King Kalua comes to me, and I think it's my first match at SWA, and TJ puts me with their heavyweight champion, right? So I'm sitting there and King Kalua shows up and I get up and I shake his hand. I'm like, hey, how's it going, sir? And then the first question he asked me, so Red Dog, what do you do? And I was like, sell and listen. he just like exactly. He did that. He smirked and then he laughed and then he goes, I like that answer, but what do you really do? And I was like, all right, let's talk. And then
Like
like
yeah. I'm like, nah, could it and like Could I hear that from time to time and stuff like that and whatnot, and it makes me laugh. Cause it also tells me that like it tells me either like a few things. It's like, all right, he's hanging around a lot of old ass vets and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, two, like you ain't, all right, motherfucker, you ain't got to stroke my ego. I'm still, I'm just Wolf. I get it. I'm like now and but you came to respect you, like, and you're also trying to lighten the mood because you want to leave a good impression and stuff like that, and that's always a good thing because like credible vets can help you get from point A to point B and don't mind dropping those gems like when you like at a like I would just say like a 9 o'clock at night like message and stuff like hell I do that from time to time and I'm 10 years in. I hit up Black G's or Rich Swan. I'm like, yeah, hey, I just wanna I'm sorry, are you up? Yes. Can you just check this match out. Let me know what you think. And I get nervous and I be like, good stuff and stuff like that. But I get it. Um, I'm like now when I hear stuff like that, just like all right, cool, Batman, just relax. All right, we got X, Y, and Z. This is the time we got. Just trying to tell a story. I'm like right now, wrestling has seen everything. There's nothing that you can do that is gonna that you cannot reinvent the wheel. Just just do something that most people don't do, and that's just tell a good story in the ring.
Yeah. See, it was funny because like at the Wrestling Independent, right? Trucker Josh, he's also been kind of he's newer to the game, right? He's been in for a little bit. So the first thing I did when I found out I was working him,
Yeah,
I went to him, I DM'd him, and the first thing I said was, "Hey man, it's gonna be you and me." And he was excited. I was excited too because I like Trucker. So then I told him I was like, "Yo, I think the story," and I hit up Mike. I asked Mike what he wanted, and he said it was just we two baby faces working it out. I was like, "Cool. Can we get?" And I wrote back to him. I was like, "Yo, can we do it like two hungry kids that are trying to fight, but like one person has clearly a little bit more experience than the other, and then we can go with that." And he was like, "Yeah, bet." So then I hit up Trucker, and I was like, "Yo, this is the story that we should tell," and that's what we did. So we tried to keep it 50-50 the best that we could, and then obviously we ended up on a roll, and that's like how the pin happened. But it was because I was thinking about like how would other people tell this story. I was like, well, if we're gonna try to keep it baby face, then we'll just tell the story of like this guy just has a little bit more experience and he won because of this, and it took that last second thing to get it done.
yeah. With that, I would just baby. It's not tough to talk about sometimes, but like, cause when you always get trained by these old school cats, they always say like, say the keep your cake like kayfabe, brother. But I would say like there's a formula for baby versus baby. It's just like just someone has to always be the aggressor.
Yeah,
Like you never want to steer off to like straight heel, but you also want to cement yourself as somebody has to be the aggressor and somebody has to be the one that's going to be vulnerable to grab the attention or garner some type of sympathy for the crowd to engage and stuff
yeah.
like that.
And that makes sense. It was one of those things where I was, and see, it goes back to like the experience side of things and just like trying
Yeah,
to learn. And I felt like for the most part in our match, like we told a pretty decent story. I'm not gonna say
yeah.
it was perfect because even going back and watching it, there's like some things that I think that we could have changed. Where everybody's gonna be that way, could have changed and could have made. Um, but it was definitely funny just like to go back and watch again and be like, all right, did we really get to tell the story the way we wanted to? And in some aspects, yes, in other aspects, no. And I'm like, all right, well, we learned something today, so we can take it on and keep it
I
moving
like
and keep
I
pushing
like
it.
nah like I I understand where you're coming from. How can I explain? There's gonna be a very, very few times in your career where you're gonna have that perfect match. Very few fucking times. I'm just like whew, um, I'm gonna say I've had a handful. I like, I've had some some solid bangers. I've had some great matches, but I can honestly say I never had that one match where I was like, yo, there's nothing I did here that I'm like, I can't. Like I want to nitpick this so bad. I'm like, and they're like, and I asked other people to nitpick, and I was like, damn. So I'm like, like we can't. They're a perfect match, and it's like, all right, bet. How can I make this? How can I make this ongoing thing with the next match?
No,
With me,
I
like,
can't wait.
like
I can't wait to have that match.
I'm just like, honestly speaking, like you're in year 5, and I would say like this is, and it's like no pressure, but I'm like this is the time where all of a sudden you really start to understand wrestling. Like it is. This is the time where all of a sudden like um it's this it feels so real saying this because I'm like this was like it wasn't said to me per se, but all of a sudden like this was something I would always try. I was so adamant about finding out like when does it click where it makes sense. And honestly speaking, like it happened around like your like the time like your time like my 5th year of things like it was like blemishes, but now it's like it kind of clicked once like I this is the shit or get off their pot, and I need to figure out what I'm doing because I can't allow this to fail, and I can't allow for us to fail. And I'm like I can lose money, but I'm like there's one thing I can't lose, and that's
It's crazy because like when I think about it was funny because I said that same thing to Chaz. I was like, listen, man, like I get it. Like I started late, being that I started at like 34 in this
yeah,
business, and I'm like, all right, it's fine. I give myself like a 10-year window. Like I figured
yeah,
10 years is like a good time frame. I was like, so at year 5, like I have to pick it up. Like I have to like realize like what's going on, how's it going, how can I handle this in this situation. Not like I don't need a plan for every situation, but just your baseline
yeah.
stuff that I can like, okay, if we've gone off tour, hey, let's figure out how we're gonna get back on the road. And it's one of those things where I've pushed myself and studied, and then like I knew like I was never gonna be good on a camera, so I needed to work on that, which I created a podcast for that because now I talk all the time on a microphone. Like I've learned like how to adapt and change and pick things up. And it was crazy because like I didn't know how to make graphic designs, and so I tried to make myself like a weapon in that aspect and learn how to do that. Like I started trying new things to figure out how can I make myself a better asset in this company or in this business and make it better, right? Because that's ultimately what we all want to do. But
I'm like yeah,
yeah, now it's
you always want to leave it better. You always want to leave it better than what you found it. Um, It's actually funny that you say that because I'm like that was the first thing I'm like that was one of the things that I heard as I like progressed and I started to go places. Like you want to leave it on how you found it, and then actually like and I get to like CZW and like DJ is like, what do you want to do? Like I want to make a difference. Fuck that. What you want to do is make money. like I was like I was like, damn, you got a point. Like
right.
you want to make money. Because like once you make your money and you solidify your shit, then you can make a fucking difference. I was like,
Yeah.
damn,
Yeah.
all right, cool. I looked at Marcus. I was like, I don't want to agree with him right now because I feel like we were really strong in our principles, but I've been thinking about upping our pay. And it was like it made sense.
It
Like
really
I
does.
like, nah, I did. I was like, oh, god damn it. I'm like this whole time, like here I was doing X, Y, and Z, and I was a capitalist this whole goddamn time. And it's like, but
See,
like hopefully I'm making, yeah, like hopefully I'm making a difference while being a capitalist. Like,
It's one of those things too, is where like networking like really helps out in like finding places because like you mentioned like CZW, which I know they run their shows sometimes out of Maryland and a lot of times they run out of Jersey, and it's like
Yeah,
I recently, like I say recently, as in like this last year, uh, I had it broken down to me in a way that I never thought I would be like expecting, right? And it was I was talking with E. O'Neill, and it was about
yeah,
because I was moving to Massachusetts. I was moving to Massachusetts from Maryland, and Eel, I was telling Eel about how I didn't feel right about asking people to kind of put my name out there because I didn't want them to look bad, but then like
yeah,
I also wanted to make it on my own accord. And then he said, "Listen, man," he's like, "You don't watch every single show or you don't read every single description on Netflix, do you?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "But if your friend suggested a show to you, would you watch it?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." And then I was like, "Oh, I get it." And so like now I have to like I think I'm getting to that point where like I can reach out to other promoters and talk to them about like getting on their shows and stuff like that. But it really comes down to asking for help and then utilizing the network that I've like started to build like through the area.
oh yeah, man. Like wrestling is a big networking. Is just it is it's a big world in a small bubble. That's the
Yep.
best way I can put that. Cause Lord, I'm like it's crazy. Places I go to nowadays, and they recognize who the hell I am, and I'm just like I haven't even worked here before, like or ever, and y'all know who I am. It feels surreal and stuff like that, and it just is, and it's a great like engaging moment and stuff like that. But honestly speaking, like we actually have a combine in at CZW January 17th. Like, send that shit in. I'm just like crazy part about it is, the person that's also assisting running that, you're talking to them right now. So just show up, man. Like, honestly, you have like it will be a great atmosphere. You have myself there, Deshaun Pratt, probably the rep, DJ Hyde himself. Like you have opportunities where all of a sudden you can just like just you show what you got and show what you got, and as well as get critiqued by some of the best guys in the business to do so.
Yeah.
So and then I'm putting the open invitation out there. So no bullshit.
Yeah, CZW is a place that like I've been wanting to work at for a while. And then the funny part is like the other like earlier this year they had the best, the best of the best
Oh,
tournament.
yeah, the best of the best. Yes, yes.
And then looking at the best of the best roster, right? I was like, yo, I've had I think it was like 8 people, 9 people, and I was like, I've had 6 of the 9 people on this podcast that's on that show. And then it was like, oh, and I started seeing more people start showing up, and I'm like, oh, I've had that person on the show, I've had that person on the show. I was like, I should
Yeah, man.
definitely like reach out.
Which is, and it's crazy to me sometimes. Like everyone that's been signed, or that's finally getting their due. All of us came up together within the 2015 class. So I was like, I'm on best of the best with Myron. I'm on there with oh man, Ken Broadway. I'm just like Jordan Oliver. All of us literally, it makes me laugh because it's like, yo, we all graduated at the same time. It was like I see my friends and stuff that I see who I'm cool with or I came up with on TV, like the Max Casters and the MJFs and stuff like that, the Bowens. And I was just like, damn, man. I was like, so this is how that feels. Okay. Well, this is how that feels. Like the class with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony was in it. Like, ah shit, let's go. Son. And all of a sudden you gotta see them like in the 2015 class is like what we're doing and stuff like that. It's like, all right, all right. Okay. It's gonna have to be my year soon. I'm gonna have to. I don't know. gonna show out. Just gotta give me that shot and stuff like that. But I don't want you to ever feel like, yo, you can never start at a bad time. It's just you're gonna get what you put in. You're gonna get out
Yeah.
what you put in a sense. That's it.
It's funny because I think of like you saying that it I don't know if you've seen a meme lately, like on Instagram, on Reels, or on TikTok, but it's The Rock, right? And The Rock says, one day or day one.
Yeah,
And it hits so hard for me because like right now, like my my goal was just to get into pro wrestling. That's all it
yeah,
was. Like I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to get in. And then I look back at like how far like I've come from like my first practice to
yeah.
like my most recent match. I'm like, damn, bro, like I definitely have enjoyed this journey that has happened. But as like now I need to have new goals. And I think when I was talking to O'Shea um on the show, I said the same thing. He was like, so what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. And now I'm looking back, I was like, I said it to TJ Sykes at SWI. I was like, I want to be the face of a company. That's what I want to be. I want someone to trust me and
Yeah.
say, you know what, Red Dog's that dude. Like I'm gonna put a title on him, and I want him to showcase because he's the kind of example that of a person that I want on my shows. And so I'm like, all right, how do I get there? What am I gonna do? And then I just keep telling myself, just gonna grind. That's really all it is. You just grind and keep pushing and just keep working for everything.
Um, that's interesting. Cause I'm like I like to say, I'm like, have a long term goal, but focus on the short term goals.
Yeah.
First short term goal, get into wrestling. Bam, check. That was my short term goal. I'm like, all right, cool. Get into wrestling. All right, next step. Let's try and get my ass on on these shows. Because words of like I trained at Words of Wrestling off the rip of, out of Johnny Ross in a sense. Um and we used to have monthly shows, and then we used to have our pre-shows. And pre-shows was only 2 matches. This was like the student showcase and stuff like that. And I was like, fuck, nah, I gotta get on this. I need to get on this. Mind you, I just started. I was like, but I gotta get on it. And it was like something gotta click. And it's like, I had my first match in front of somebody, in front of a crowd, 4 weeks after my training. Like, wasn't expecting that shit. Someone fucked up. I get I get a tag on Facebook. Hey, Isaiah, someone fucked up. You're the next man up. Hope you have gear. I commented, yeah, I'll be ready. Lying through my fucking teeth. I had no such thing as ring gear. I did not have ring gear. Oh my god. I actually still have the MMA shorts from my first fucking match, as well as the kick pads. My daughter actually wears the kick pads around the house when she wants to dress like Wolf and like and stuff like that. And they weren't even like the kick pads I'm wearing now, like the kick pads that I invested money in. They're like these little tall like kick pads that you get off of Amazon. I was like, I think this works. I think this is cool. Like so terrible. But then I look and I look at how far I've come from that to this, and I'm just like, damn. I was like, and it kind of like takes me back, and I'm like, like when you're in it, you don't really get to see where you're coming from or how far you made it. And I would like never would have thought. I'm like, damn, all right, but I've done this. I've wrestled this. I'm like, wow, I'm on TV in a sense. I'm just like, oh shit, yeah, I'm overseas. Like I didn't never think I would be overseas over a dream. It was like shit. I made a world title. I made a world title because of a dream. I did that shit, and it's like, yeah, and it didn't really dawn on me until actually I came back home and shit like that, and I was like, yeah, I am jet black like a motherfucker. I did something. Don't ever feel like, like, and I get it. I get it. Like, as a wrestler, as a man, and like it's a shitty feeling when you feel like you're in quicksand, like, like in a wrestling sense, like,
Mhm.
or just overall, like, no matter how much you fight, you are going absolutely nowhere. Like, you are fighting, but the more you fight, the deeper your ass is sinking. I'm telling you this right now, you're fine. Those moments where you feel like that, it's like it is a part of the process. It's the shitty part of the process, and even I go through it. But I was like, you also got to look at what you could have done as opposed to what you're doing now, and that's always where I feel like that's the that's the shit that helps you progress as opposed to worrying about what you're not doing. You couldn't have been you could have been doing jack shit, like, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, you can straight up, man. I could have been working at fucking at H&M's right now. Like, like, not knocking nobody that work at H&M's, especially those that, that choose to make a career out of H&M's. But I was like, I did work at H&M's. I'm not gonna lie, I did work. I'm like, but I need to pay for wrestling school. Fuck. That was my second job. I was like, quick. I was like, quick.
No, it's one of those things where it's like, I sit back and I'm like, I try to figure out, like, who, like, I guess where my next step is gonna be, right? Where I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do. And it's like you have to keep advancing your goals and stuff like that and keep pushing, like, keep looking. And it was funny because like I said, right? Like, I started off and it was just like, hey, uh, instead of watching wrestling on TV every week, why not try? Why
Yeah,
not go for it? And then, if people are like, well, you're too old. Okay, whatever. I
yeah,
missed the boat, but I gave it the college try and shit just didn't work out.
yeah,
However, shit kinda worked out a
yeah.
little bit.
I'm like, your next step, honestly speaking, is now finding yourself, like, getting yourself at promotions where all of a sudden you're surrounding yourself around guys that's been places, are still going to places, and all of a sudden a locker room that's willing to, help you. Like, yo, you been at Russell Open, that's a good look. I'm like, especially when you have like core guys there from day one that, like, like Tyree, who, like, shit, if you ask this dude to help you or give you feedback, he will do it if he knows you're not bullshitting him. I know this for a fact. I'm like, and this man will talk wrestling. Like, we will talk wrestling if we could, like, on an 8-hour car ride, and not to the point we got to our fucking destination. It's about that passion. But it's also like you need to start finding yourself, or like other, even if you're just trying to help out. If you get those chances, like, like a guy that you watch on television that's in your local area, or that's just at a place that, like, I'm there or somebody else is there, or like, just want to help out, go there. Like, like, honestly, like, it never hurts to lend a helping hand, especially if there's an opportunity where all of a sudden you can learn something different than what you learned before.
Yeah, it was, it's been kinda cool because like, the last couple weeks, like, I've been going up to bio and, like, just
Yeah,
training Tom, and, it's been kind of eye-opening to just be like, "Alright, cool," because like, it's been and there's, like, 2 things that's happened, right? So, being at Wrestling Open and being there weekly and just kinda watching the product, not really, like,
yeah,
I may not be involved every week, but just getting to watch the product, and then going to practice and, like, training and stuff like that. I was just talking to I was talking to Drew about this, right?
yeah,
In the ring, like, I hit a couple moves, and when I went back and watched some of my older film, like, I would let's say I throw an arm drag, right? I would get up, I'd look at the crowd, but my back would be faced towards my opponent, right? And I
yeah,
would turn around and be like, "Yeah, let's come on." This time, I hit the arm drag, I pop up, and I never felt myself turn. I just kept
yeah.
looking straight forward, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what that's supposed to feel like. So I was telling you, I was like, yeah, like the real biggest critique, and this was something I had said to you. I was like, you had told me to, was like, I really wasn't playing much to the hard cam. Like the crowd was into the match, kind of, but it
Yeah,
wasn't like I just knew like the little mistakes that I have made in the past, like just all of a sudden, like I just wasn't making. I was like,
yeah,
hey, we're here. We're doing the right things. We're getting there. So I
yeah.
was like, all right, cool.
And that matter, and I feel like that's like when you feel comfortable, then all of a sudden your progression is gonna be a lot easier and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, cool. I know what I can do. I know what I could bring to the table. I'm confident in my fundamentals, and that's one of the big things I tell anyone, especially in their fifth year. I'm just like, yo, I don't give a shit about your moves. I don't care. How is your fundamentals? How is your fundamentals and your footwork? I'm like, I promise you, your fundamentals and your footwork will carry you so much far if you just if they are solid. I'm like 10 years. I'm like, and this is me literally just like hitting some vet shit. If you ever watch those Young Lion New Japan matches, they don't do nothing of what they see on the main show. They are literally doing what is being given to them, and they have perfected to a T, and that's just pretty much fundamental stuff. Clothesline, forearm, drop kick, Boston crab, snapmare. Pretty much your basic rudimentary moves, but they do it in a way where you believe that. And that's what and that's why I always say, like, young guys watch those matches because they're telling you a story and they're not doing shit. And next, 3 to 4 years later, you watch their ass come back with a whole new persona, and next, they're wrestling fucking Okada for the goddamn for the title somehow, man. It was like, how the fuck?
Like,
How? How?
damn, he got good. He got good real
I'm like,
quick.
damn, son. I'm like, shit. Like the prime example. This is like that's why I like to, this is why I always say it's kind of like fun because like the class I came out of, y'all, you might know them as Yo and Show. All of a sudden they were a part of the Chaos crew back in the day. Well, they were,
Mm,
they were part of, like, they split. But when they came, they were Young Lions in New Japan. Went on excursion and whatnot. They were calling themselves the Sushi Boys and shit. Terrible and whatnot. But all of a sudden they did their excursion. They went to they paid their dues in Japan, and in Japan. They got to leave, they go to Mexico. They went to Canada, they went to the US, they went to London. When they came back to New Japan with a whole new persona, being a part of Chaos, they were fucking ready. I'm just like you literally have to think of it like that. You master your fundamentals to the point where now you can take those fundamentals and then learn new fundamentals in different places. The Mexican fundamentals, the American fundamentals. So now by the time you actually come back, you can show your ass because you've learned 1,000 basics, and all of a sudden, all in that time span.
mm. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I think I'm just gonna start doing. That's my next thing to start doing is just like not necessarily traveling the world, but probably watching like a lot more matches from a lot of different areas, so that way I can like
Yeah,
start
man.
picking up
Like honest,
all
like
the
I
simple
became
fundamentals.
this is like probably the most fucking thing I say about myself. I became a better performer when I broke my ankle.
Mm.
Like, to be real with you, because though I was seething, I was in my feelings, I was angry at the world, I was bitter for like, and that was just in 3 days. I also knew, like, I was away from a emotional eater, box of cereal a day. Uh, but I realized this is a part of the job, and I'm like, all right, cool. I also come to the realization, what I was doing before I got injured, I cannot do right now. So, like, how can I change that up and give myself longevity so I won't have to worry about doing that or having that incident happen, or at least if it happens, I know I'm solidified myself with the fundamentals on the basics or just great storytelling. I was just watching old chain wrestling matches, NXT UK, Defiant Wrestling at that time, or WCPW. I was watching fucking ICW when it used to be on YouTube, and over in Scotland. I was literally just becoming a student of the international game, and then eventually I started incorporating what I watched about 1,000 fucking times, because I was like, I would see something, I'm like, oh damn, that's crazy. How did he do that? Why did he do that? Okay. And then when I was actually cleared to get back in the ring, I just had a whole different mentality, and I'm like, I was just doing shit that was never seen before, and it just like eventually it was like, damn, I had to give myself a whole new dimension of a performer.
I like that. I like that a lot. Actually, I definitely I'm gonna start using that. Like I'm just gonna start watching. Like I said, I'm gonna start checking a lot of other stuff out. Listen, I want to take this over to another great game that we have. So we don't think we didn't do this on the first podcast. We didn't do so. We normally have like the 10 count questions, and I don't think we
We
did
did
it.
that.
We
We did
did.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a different one, and it's called Pin Submit DQ. So I'm gonna give
All
you
right.
3 characters. You got pin 1, submit 1, and then DQ the other one.
All right.
All right. So first 3 that we're gonna choose, right? The Giant, Kane, and Undertaker.
Pin the Undertaker. Submit Kane. DQ the Giant.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Batman, Superman, and the Green Lantern. And at that, it's Jon Stewart.
Pin Superman. Submit Batman. DQ the Green Lantern. You know why?
I'm hitting that man with a yellow pencil. That's it.
That's it. Like, you got it. Got it. You know why?
And then last but not least, Scar, Mufasa, and Curtis.
Damn, that's a tough one because of Curtis. You know what? You know what? I'm actually gonna DQ. I'm actually gonna DQ Scar. I'm gonna submit Mufasa, and then just to get the ultimate heat, I'm gonna pin Curtis. Like, wait,
And for those who don't know, you're gonna have to go back and listen to find
yeah,
out.
let me go back. I'm gonna go back. Shit. I was
Well, listen, that's all my questions and things I have. So the last thing I just need from you is to let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you.
oh man, very very simple. Twitter or X, Twitter X. I don't. You know what? Whatever. Yeah, you can find me there as the the Isaiah Wolf. Instagram is Isaiah_Wolf23, and Facebook is just Isaiah Wolf.
There
Very
you go. Simple. Told you where you can find him. So, like every great part of a wrestling match, we got to take this home because this is now entering 201, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. But like every good Sherpa, it's never about me. It's about who's entering. So who's entering? You see him right there, Isaiah Wolf. So you guys know what to do. Tune into the next episode and be there, or you're legitimately just like following us on all of our social media platforms. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're following us on Spotify. You're listening us to on Amazon Music or iHeartRadio, or ever how that dumb jingle goes. You're sharing this with your friends. You're sharing this with your parents. You're sharing this with your other families that you don't actually acknowledge. Probably that cousin that you cut out 3 times on the tree and then put them back in. You're even sharing this with your pets or your enemies, because we love haters too. You're picking up all of our merch, or you're really just kind of waiting for this episode to end. You're waiting for the outro, and then you're choosing another episode to listen to. Kawaii. What's going on, 3 Count Nation? I'm Clifford Red Dog Miller with the catchphrase. But what I really want you to do right now, go to twitter.com, right? Go over there, find us at the 3count_pod, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment. We want to talk to you guys. Go to IG at the 3 Count Pod.
Give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a comment. We want to interact with you. Go to youtube.com, give subscribe, turn the bell on, turn the notifications, leave a comment. We want to talk to you. Go to anchor.fm/the 3 Count Podcast, and in there, you can leave us a message, and we will talk to you. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that we want to talk to you. We want to have fun with you guys, and we love listening to what you guys have to say. Also, one thing I need you to do for me, the 3 Count Podcast also has merchandise. Oh! At prowrestlingtees.com/the 3 Count Pod. Please go buy our t-shirts. We love you guys, and we hope you love us too. So, show us some support, please.